Programmet presenteras av betsafe.com.
Hi and welcome back to MMA Nathan Studio MMA, and we're here with a legend in the sport, Tito Ortiz. How are you finding Sweden so far?
Nice, man. It's cold, but people are really, really nice here. It's awesome. Just walking through the hallways, elevators, so forth. Everyone's saying hello. It's great to see them having the support they do for mixed martial arts.
When you got started in mixed martial arts, did you ever foresee any of this and where you going to be one day?
Yeah, I had the dream. I told Lorenzo and Dana, to work hard, and this sport's going to get big. You just had to educate the fans of what the sport is truly about. When they first made the sport as being a barbaric sport, and 2-man enter, 1-man leaves, which is not the truth. We're athletes, highly trained athletes, and we're competing against each other to see who the best athlete is. And when Dana's done the PR, Lorenzo's put his money up forward to give us fighters the opportunity to fight on a big stage that we have. You're going to be accepted. And the first reason that started, I think, was doing the Ultimate Fighter, because fans got to get educated on what the sport is truly about.
And you were there. You were part of it, the Ultimate Fighter show, and you're here in Sweden not to fight, but to promote the sport for the very first time the UFC gets to come to Sweden. Have you had a chance to see the country yet?
Yeah, actually, I had Swedish meatballs. Were amazing. The pickled herring, I'm not a big fan of fish.
No one is.
I wasn't too excited about that, but the sights are beautiful out here. The city hall, a lot of things that I came down and I've seen, it's just beautiful. One of the restaurants we ate at were actually opened in 1906, so it's nice to see a little bit of history and to enjoy somewhere I've never been before.
And what's next for you? You've had a couple of surgeries, back surgeries, neck surgery and so on, knee surgery too, I believe,
yes.
Right? You've been in the game for a long time, light heavyweight champion. How long are you going to keep going?
I got one more left. On July 7th, I think it will be my last fight against Forrest Griffin. It's just time. All these young guys that are coming up. You see Gustafsson. The kid's an animal, 6'5". Johnny Bones Jones, the champ now, who's just unbelievable. These young guys that are hungry, that want to achieve the things that I've had through my career, it's their turn. It's their time. And I'm willing to step down now. After 15 years of competing in the UFC, no one's ever done it before. No one's been in the octagon more consecutive times than I have. No one's had more championship rounds more than I have. No one's ever defended their light heavyweight title more than I have. So I think I've made some great goals, and I became an icon of my name. I wanted my name to be a household name in mixed martial arts, and I've done that, and I'm very thankful. So it's time to make sure I don't overstay my welcome and walk away while I still got my head on my shoulders. I've never been knocked out unconscious in any of my fights. I've been stopped to the body, but it's just one of those things. The better man won that night, and I plan on other business stuff. Of course, my clothing company, Punishment Athletics, my nutrition line, Punishment Nutrition, and I just opened a gym last year that is very successful and growing very quick in the States, and possibly start doing franchising out in different countries.
Do you actually teach there yourself?
Yes, I teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I teach a kids class from 5 to 6, and then an adults class from 6 to 7. So that's 2 days a week that I do that.
So now, going from being the Huntington bad boy and a little bit of maybe a guy with a chip on his shoulder as a younger man, into Tito Ortiz, the businessman. You look smart. You make me look like a punk now. Was that always the plan? Did you realize you had these,
It was never my plan, I didn't want to grow older, but, I got 3 boys. I want to make sure that I show them with hard work and dedication that you can achieve anything. And a lot of people who look up to me as an influence in their life, an inspiration in their life, of knowing that, you can change yourself and you can become different. The bad boy image was, I was a young punk kid who was confident. People say it was cockiness. I was confident. I knew I was the best in the world, and I did it hand over fist. Every time I competed, I put on a show. Even if I was injured or not, I still came in and I put on a show no matter what.
Now, you're a household name in America for sure. You can't go anywhere without people recognizing you. However, did you realize that it was such a big mixed martial arts environment and hardcore fans over here in Sweden? And do people come up to you in the streets here too? Yeah,
I didn't realize it. Of course, I'm on Twitter at Tito Ortiz. I have my Twitter account, and one of the girls here said, "Well, Tito, Twitter's not that big here." Well, I said something about giving away 2 free tickets, and all of a sudden there's probably about, 600-700 people going, "I want to go, I want to go, I want to go." So I guess Twitter is big here. Facebook's big though too.
Yeah.
But just the response I get, I was able to go out one night and just see the reaction I get from the younger crowd, and everybody knew who I was. So it's I guess I've done my job of promoting the UFC, and UFC's done their job of helping me promote.
The main event on Saturday night is your weight class, and you mentioned earlier Alexander Gustafsson, and you mentioned John Bones Jones as well. First of all, predictions on Saturday night, and do you think the winner of that fight is far away from a title shot?
You know, I think if Gustafsson wins, he has a chance of getting a title shot. You know, he dominated through Matt Hamill, a person who beat me. But Gustafsson has a great look. He's a big guy. He's fast. He's good on his feet. He's good on the ground. Good takedown defense. And this might be Johnny Bones Jones' kryptonite. You never know. But Bones Jones has to get through Rashad, of course, next week. It'll be an exciting fight. But these guys that are up and coming on Saturday night, the next person, you know, I guess whoever wins, will Thiago be able to beat Gustafsson? I don't think so. I think it'll be a referee stoppage in the second round.
Really?
Yeah. And,
that's a prediction right there.
Yeah, a little bit of prediction. I watch a lot of guys' fights. I watch their aggressiveness and how they compete. And styles make matches. And I think this is a bad style up for Thiago Silva.
What about the following weekend, Rashad Evans versus John Jones? Any picks on that?
This is going to be one of the most exciting and most anticipated fights since me and Chuck Liddell. You know, it's huge. I mean, I can't wait to watch. But I think John Jones is going to pick apart Rashad Evans. You're going to get a stoppage by the third round.
Since you two predictions were like that. Now, 10 years ago, you said you kind of foresaw this. A little bit more predictions. Where is the UFC 10 years from now?
You know, I think the UFC 10 years from now is taking over the world. You know, 10 years ago, I said that we're going to take over boxing. We've done that. I knew we were going to take over professional wrestling. We've done that. And I think the next step now is to take over soccer, or you guys have football. Do we take over that? And I know in Brazil they beat some of the numbers out in Brazil, so their soccer games were on the same night as some of the MMA events. But people want to watch mixed martial arts. They want to watch the modern-day gladiators, and that's what we are when we step in the cage.
Now, when you're done fighting, potentially you'll fight in July with Forrest Griffin being the last one. Are you going to be involved with the UFC still? What's your plans or your relationship after you're done with your active fighting relationship?
Well, my relationship now with the UFC is good. I still got to build my trust back, I guess, from the things I've negotiated during my contracts. I don't have a manager. I have an attorney and I have a publicist. And I negotiate my own stuff. And sometimes it's not good for a fighter to do that because it gets very personal towards Dana. And we've had our battles back and forth, but we're patching them up. And I guess I got to earn my respect back. Do I come back and work for the company? I think that's a question for Dana and Lorenzo to answer.
Would you want to?
I would love to. I would love to come in and work with the UFC. I mean, I'm great at promoting. I know what people want to hear. I'm very articulate in the way to describe, how fights are, what the predictions are, and what the sport is truly about. And, like I say, we're modern-day gladiators, but we're also entertainers. And we're going in and we're putting on a show and put on a fight. At least when I compete, I do.
And I think a lot of people don't realize, from, again, being the bad boy, Huntington bad boy, to being as articulate as you are, being as business-minded as you are. Did you always know that, or this is something that you grew into?
I don't know. I think I always had that. I was lucky. I think God has really gave me some great skills and blessed me with a smart mind. Even when I used to wrestle in high school, people would always surround my match to watch. And I wasn't even a fighter yet. I didn't even think of being a fighter. I mean, I went to school. I went to graduate school to be a teacher. I want to be, physical education was my major, and special education was my teaching. I want to help out with resource kids, the kids who came from the streets, who came from not wealthy families, and didn't want to go to school. I want to kind of keep them focused of possibly getting in the gym or getting into the wrestling room. And I come to realize instead of helping 40 kids in a wrestling room, I could help 500,000 kids across the world of knowing what inspiration is truly like and what you can make out of this life. Because I wasn't supposed to be successful, but I kept my mind focused and my nose to the grindstone and just worked as hard as I possibly could and try to get the most out of this life right now. And I think in being an inspiration in people's lives, the bad boy image is no longer there. Reclaim myself as a people's champ. I think that's what people love to hear, and I'm here for my fans.
And an inspiration you truly are. Do you go back to your high school and the wrestling room at all? Do you still follow wrestling as well? Yeah,
actually, I'm getting inducted to the Wrestling Hall of Fame March 19th. Or no, excuse me, May 19th. I go back to my high school all the time. They have their Sunset League finals. I was there doing an autograph signing, taking pictures of the kids. And I sat down and I spoke to the kids and just tell them just wrestling is something that you're going to learn, that there's no other sport in the world harder than collegiate wrestling. If you make it through 4 years of collegiate wrestling in high school, life will be easy. And they all kind of smiled. Because people who've wrestled before, they understand the hard work and dedication it takes to be an amateur wrestler.
We're actually going to end by cutting to a seminar that you taught yesterday to women's soccer team. First of all, how did that come about, and what was it? It wasn't really mixed martial arts per se, right? It was more of an inspirational seminar that you taught.
Yeah, I mean, the seminar I did was kind of motivating. You know, I kind of want to associate with soccer with the mental strategy we have for fighting. That it's competition, it's strictly competition. Being very positive in your mind, and because your mind's a strong tool, and if you're able to use it at its fullest, you'll get the most out of it. And I sat and talked to those girls, and it was cool because they were listening. You know, they weren't like all of a sudden fingering with their fingernails or anything like that. They were listening. Then they're really absorbing the things I was saying. And I've gone through a lot in my life, and I think I'm able to speak on many different levels. You know, I mean, not even just fighting. You know, in business in general. You know, relationships. I mean, so many different stuff that I've learned through my life that I've tried to be successful in. And being there as a motivator, being there as a positive thinker, I try to mend that to them, and they understood it, and I think they took a lot from it, and they seemed to like it, so it was fun.
Thank you, Tito, for coming in. We're gonna cut to that seminar that Tito taught here in Stockholm yesterday, and we'll see you on Saturday night in Globen. You heard the predictions from Tito Ortiz right here. Thank you.
One little small thing like that will ruin the whole week, and that's what happened. I mean, fight, I'm making weight. I cut like 30 pounds to make weight. I wasn't in great shape, and when I walked into the cage, I already felt in my mind, I go, I'm not ready. When I stepped in, I fought. I mean, I ended up losing the match, but it was my emotions and it was my heart and everything that just put me in there to fight. I wasn't fighting on the training that I put into it because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready for it, and that's why you got to prepare yourself for what's going to come in front of you, to win, to score. Everyday life, and that's what really, really matters, is just believing in yourself and preparing yourself mentally to make that stuff happen. What I'm doing here in the weigh-in is I'm just gonna pull it straight up. Squat, pull it straight up. Everything I'm always doing is always keep my head straight to the sky. I never wanna keep my head down. My head is what guides my body to all the positions I want to, okay? About 4 months, actually 3 months after surgery, I fell and I slammed my knee, and I was walking and it felt like my knee was, like I ripped it again. Went to the doctor and he pulled my knee. He goes, "You're fine." And when he said I was fine, I went to go step. All of a sudden my knee it wasn't loose. It wasn't like shaky. And your mind makes your body control everything. It's just so weird how powerful your mind is. If you use it the right way in a positive manner, it'll make your training go by faster, make school go by faster, life in general go by fun. Everything's fun. Because when you get that one little negative stuff, it'll bring the rest of you down. You dwell on that so much, your life just becomes, God, why am I doing this? Why? Why am I having a shitty day today? And then you dwell on that so much that you don't believe in making yourself better.
Programmet presenteras av betsafe.com.